Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Bassline with Jeremiah Hosea. I'm so honored to be here. I want to thank PRN. I want to thank Gary Null. I want to thank Catherine Davis, my good friend, who has helped make this connection possible. And I'm just so excited. I have one of my best friends here in the studio with me. Please say hello, Ryan Waters.
Hey, happy to be here. Here we are.
Yeah, so Ryan is, he's just an awesome human being. So we're going to just kind of catch up for a minute. This is old friends catching up. And then we're going to delve into some various political discussions. But Ryan is a good friend of mine. We go way back. We're co-producers of an album called No One's Slave, which I'm very proud of. It's by the collective Earthdriver, so please look that up. Earthdriver, No One's Slave. It's an independent underground classic in its own right. It's freedom music. It involves a wonderful community of folks. And when we recorded that album way back when, I just learned so much from Ryan in that process, things that I've taken with me throughout my career as a professional musician. Ryan is like, he's a phenomenal guitar player. He's a world-class guitar player. The brother is the lead guitar player for Sadé. He played with the New Power Generation with Prince. So, I mean, we're talking about an A-list cat, and he's my good friend. But
gotten around a little bit.
Yeah, he's gotten around. And, it was such an amazing experience, honestly, seeing Ryan so many years ago, but I could remember it just like yesterday, seeing Ryan on stage in Madison Square Garden, just blocks from where we are, on stage with the great Sadé. And, one thing that people have to understand on a gig of that magnitude is, and I point this out, it's not just luck. When you get on a gig like that, sure, you need to, there's a little bit of luck in maybe being in the right place at the right time, but then you have to hold down the gig.
Yeah,
and, and it's an incredible thing to really be the man for the job. And, I'm just so proud of Ryan, everything that he's accomplished in his career. And, he's always been a phenomenal musician, but now with all this experience under his belt, I mean, the brother is a guitar god.
Hey, man.
So sorry to pour it on so thick.
Hey, listen, on the real, none of that would have happened if it wasn't for you, because you were the one that made the connection that eventually led to that gig. It was us and the work that we were doing, and sort of, I think it was a friend of your mother's that sort of put us in touch.
Right, it's all luck.
It's all luck, absolutely. But you're a huge part of my story.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And Ryan is the silent assassin a little bit. Ryan, he's just a very intelligent, thoughtful man, and he's a phenomenal musician. But he has a great head on his shoulders, and he's been a critical thinker as long as I've known him, and a person who's not a follower. I don't think he's his own man, and I really, really respect that. And it's just been.
I got my blind spots.
Yeah, well, we all do. I think we all do. I think we're all naive in one aspect or another. But I just want to talk about your career a little bit, Ryan, just because it's not every day that people get to talk to the lead guitar player of Sadé. So, just like first of all, what's it like working for Sadé?
It's the best gig on the planet. It's some of my favorite people. Unfortunately, they take really long vacations, so I'm kind of left up to my own devices most of the time. I started with them in 2000.
Shoot, no, don't date us, man.
I know, it's crazy.
No, let's leave the dates out.
And in that time, it's been 2 tours, which have been two world tours, and 2 of the best times of my life. So, but all that to say, man, it's also a lot of pressure, like you said. Getting the call. I was definitely a bit of a fish out of water. I was green. I was young. It was my first big gig. But thankfully, I was surrounded with really good people. I got really spoiled. I think even moving forward, having experienced that as my sort of introduction into the music business, I kind of expected everything to be that moving forward. Everybody would be as professional, everybody would be as cool, everybody would be as efficient and respectful.
Let me guess, it wasn't the case.
It was not the case. I learned real quick. But that said, when the Sadé gig comes around, it's you drop everything, and it's the best gig on the planet.
But of course, and you guys were just monumental. I mean,
a great band. It's a great band.
Yeah.
And great people.
Yeah, I mean, just really clean sound. So what's the word I'm looking for? It's like iconic.
Yeah.
I mean, these songs, it's like, it really, they really stick with you. What's funny is I've been getting a little bit of physical therapy recently, and when I'm in the physical therapist's office, Sadé comes on at one point or another. I'm like, there's Ryan.
Seems to happen to me too. Yeah, man.
And then also, of course, you played with the late great Prince.
I did.
Right? The New Power generation. So I've had the privilege of seeing you on stage with Sadé and with Prince.
That's right. You were at that City Winery.
Yeah, the City Winery
right.
gig, and playing. And come on, Prince is a phenomenal guitar player. So if you're playing guitar with Prince, it's not a game.
He wasn't bad.
Yeah, he's and I know he's a big influence of. Actually, that's another thing I would add is knowing Ryan as long as I've known him. He was a Sadé fan and a Prince fan. Before he worked with either of those artists. He was an actual fan.
Yeah, I think I had to lead you to the well. I think you were going, come on, man.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny? I'll say I'll admit I'm not the biggest Prince fan. I admire the man, respect the man, legend, genius.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest Prince fan.
Right,
I don't dislike him at all. No, I'm not a hater.
Absolutely.
But, there was a video that we watched with our good friend Morgan Kraft, and a few of us were hanging out years ago, and we watched, I think it was Prince live in Germany.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh, Prince, I get it now. I really get it.
Yeah, live is definitely where that was his...
his
that's
wheelhouse.
What got me too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he played like a virtuoso piano thing. He did a crazy percussion solo like a timbalero.
Yeah, right.
Then he plays some crazy slap bass.
Yeah.
Then he plays just burning guitar. And then after just blowing your mind with the singing, the dancing, the multi-instrumentalism, he brings out a basketball hoop and shoots and makes one free throw, as though to say, I don't do anything imperfectly.
Yep.
So I mean, wow.
Yeah, that was the German show. I remember that show.
What a force of nature. That's when I was like, the Prince thing. Now I get it. It's not just like Raspberry Beret. It's like this guy is playing his butt off on multiple instruments.
Yeah, he existed on another level, man. And
yeah, unbelievable, right? Yeah. So, so then with Prince, of course, I guess, one of the most featured, if not the most featured singer of NPG was Liv Warfield, right? She sang with Prince for many years. I don't know how many years in total. And you've become, a close collaborator with Liv. How long have you guys worked together?
I've known her for almost 20 years.
Going back to Portland.
Back to Portland. She was a sort of an aspiring singer. She was on a track scholarship in Portland, which is where I grew up. I was home visiting my folks from here. As I was back in Portland, and a mutual friend sort of put us in touch, and she knew I had the Sadé gig, and she was trying to be a singer, and she was just this college kid, and she was singing karaoke. So she had me down to come see her sing some karaoke, and I saw Liv Warfield in a karaoke bar.
What?
I know.
I would not want to be doing karaoke when Liv Warfield's doing karaoke. It's kind of like
I wouldn't dare do it.
It's kind of like, hey, could everybody just not do karaoke and we'll just make this a nice Liv Warfield concert instead?
So I just I saw her, and I just encouraged her to get out. I took her to some of the clubs I knew, introduced her to some people, and she took it and ran with it. I went home. And we stayed in touch. I saw she got the Prince gig, and so when I moved back to the West Coast, we kind of reconnected. This would be 2012. And so she brought me in, so I kind of worked with Prince by proxy of Liv.
Right.
Which turned out to be a real blessing, 'cause I'm such a huge Prince fan. And I'm so glad I didn't have to work directly for him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean? That would have been a little intense, right?
I got to work with him as opposed, which was a thrill of my life. It was fantastic.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff, man. I mean, and just so you know, guys, I am a professional bass player, by the way. I'm an artist.
You sure are. No slouch.
Thank you, brother. And that song we heard at the top was my song, Love's the Highest Truth. And if you keep listening to that song, Ryan plays what I call an epigrammatic guitar solo on the end of that song. It's like I give him 32 bars to just take us up and up and up. So please go to my website, jeremiahhosea.com. Check out that song, Love's the Highest Truth. Spread the word. That is the message that I want to share with the world. Love's the highest truth. And I had the honor actually of doing not one gig actually, I guess it's one series of gigs with Liv Warfield at the Iridium not far from here. I guess that was like, 5 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, probably.
And that was intense for me because, first I was just so excited to be back on the bandstand with my brother Ryan for like the first time in I don't know how many years. And I'm looking forward to one rehearsal on a Friday night, and you guys got like snowed in or something.
That sounds right.
And it's like, oh, okay, just hop up on the bandstand with Liv Warfield. That's a character building experience.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have that rehearsal, but it's like, hey, we're flying by the seat of our pants half the time, and the audience doesn't even know it.
Yeah.
And I'm also a chess teacher, by the way. I'm a professional bass player. I'm a chess teacher. So I'm teaching chess all day, and I'm coming home and I'm shedding we call it shedding, going to the woodshed when you're getting ready for a gig or you're working on your playing. And I'm learning all these Liv Warfield songs, literally falling asleep with the bass on my lap, trying to get ready. Like, we got to do this. It's 3 a.m. and we got a few more tunes to learn. But yeah, that was just an unbelievable experience. I mean, I've worked with a lot of great singers, and I'm really honored to say that. And Liv is, she's what you call a sing the house down
sure
soul
is.
singer.
Yeah,
She's
and you held it down from what I remember.
Yeah, I did, man. One guy, he didn't follow up with me, but he said he wanted bass lessons.
Yeah,
so
right. See, there you
I
go.
had one potential bass student from the gig.
Yep.
But yeah, that was such a great experience. And I'm such a huge Liv Warfield fan too. I mean, she has a great energy with the audience, and she's like an athlete. I think she does have like a sports background,
She does,
like track and field.
yep.
She just has that statuesque presence and just this monstrous voice to go along with it. But then also, even like the last show I saw Ryan at the Cafe Wa a few weeks ago, he was in town. And then he left and he came back. He's back in town with his lovely wife, Tarika. But, Liv always she breaks it down and she goes into the audience. She's a real artist. She's not like just, reading off of a script at all. She just take it here and there, and it's a really interactive experience with her. She's just, phenomenal. But, I want to talk about... I guess in general, the music industry, I mean, I don't want to talk about it too much, actually, because it's not a very pleasant conversation.
It sure isn't. But
there was a quote you said, Ryan, and I don't know if you remember this quote, but Ryan said a funny quote years ago that I never forgot, where he said, the music business has as much to do with music as the snack food industry has to do with music. It's just it's selling little items, but the music is often sacrificed and often seemingly the least important thing.
Sure.
Like, what do you see in general? I mean, and I don't want to send you off like on a cynical thing, because there's obviously really good music and great artists and stuff that are out there too. But in terms of the industry, what do you observe, just generally speaking, about what's happened in the music industry in our adult lives?
Yeah, I mean, it's you and I experienced it together. My first experiences with it are yours. I think we, at a very young age, when we were full of idealism, we got introduced into the business via Earthdriver and really sitting in our ideals and creating from it.
Right. And
the minute you step into the business, you're beholden to the bottom line, just like any business. And the creativity is way down on the priority list, and that didn't feel right to us, I think, from jump.
Right.
And when I say, like, with the Sadé gig, I felt spoiled, they allowed me to be a musician in that band and to do what I do.
Right.
And most of the music business, where you're sort of, if you're a hired gun, or it's art and commerce, it's the same old story.
Right.
We'll never mix. And then, subsequently, over my years of being in it, the music business itself has fallen apart. The internet and all that came to be, since we got started, and that's just completely changed it. And in order to sort of keep their footing and to sort of keep their, maintain their power in this hierarchical system, the business itself is just sort of eating itself, eating its artists, to where it's now this music is sort of this. It's no longer sort of consumed in the same way. It's cheapened. It's a commodity. It's ubiquitous. Just people don't buy records anymore. It's just sort of filler in their lives. But that being said, there's still great music being created. Musicians are always going to find a way to create and be heard.
Right.
And the stage is still where that happens. So that's still where I spend most of my time.
Yeah, exactly. It's wonderful. But it's weird. Nowadays I overhear a lot of music just being played loudly out of cars. I live in Harlem, so people love to blast their music.
Right.
As they park in front of the deli across the street from my house, they feel they need to serenade the neighborhood, no matter what hour of night it is. And there's a lot of interesting little things going on in music editing and music production. But I guess my problem is I don't want to hear music that sounds like a computer made the music.
Right, yeah.
Like, use computers to play around with your music, but I want to hear the human being. And a lot of this stuff has just gotten so programmed, so sequenced. As a matter of fact, have you seen those images where you see like an old school record and you see the wave and you can see the dynamics of old school players playing? And if you look at a wave of modern music, the dynamics are gone. It's just this huge block of sound that you're looking at. So it's like you can visually see how music has changed. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it really is.
But let's get into some political stuff here. I love catching up with you, and I love talking about music. But I am known for being a little rough around the edges.
That's why we love you. Come on.
And also, I want to say, to Ryan's credit, by the way, to just give you a hint about what kind of man Ryan is. I told him before the show, I said, look, man, I don't want you to be responsible for any crazy thing that comes out of my mouth. Like, you're involved with some major commercial enterprises. You might have even signed some like non disclosure agreements, or like, what do they call, like, behavioral contracts where you say, I won't say this and I won't discuss that. So I don't want to put you in jeopardy with any of the people you're beholden to. But I said, hey, do you want to just talk about music and then I'll go into my political stuff, or, you want to join the conversation? He said, look, man, I'm not afraid to be affiliated with you.
Never have.
So, I appreciate that so much. And I also appreciate your perspective, and I would love to hear some of what you're observing on the political scene today. We're in an atmosphere of censorship. I guess,
Absolutely.
We're seeing censorship in a weird way. We're in a weird new age of a sort of a new authoritarianism, vaccine mandates, et cetera, medical mandates.
Yep.
We have a very divided country in terms of, you have QAnon on the one hand, and then what I like to call Blue Anon on the other hand. Donald Trump, I hate to even say his name. I hate to publicize the guy. When I write his name, I put a little hashtag over the U, because I don't want to repeat his name.
I like that.
I like to censor it. Actually, you know what my favorite nickname is for Donald Trump, and maybe you guys can repeat this. I call him Trauma Dump. There was a bunch of different nicknames for him, but my favorite was Trauma Dump, because I think that's what he sort of represents for the country, a massive trauma dump. But in terms of the political scene that we find ourselves in, it's very strange, I would say. Do you feel like we've witnessed just a really sudden sort of shake-up and sort of, I call it the skewing of the political landscape? It just seems like things are different now. And I'll give you a couple of examples. there's a new movie, and I haven't seen the movie actually yet. I want to see it. What's it called? The Mel Gibson movie about child trafficking.
Oh, right, yeah.
The Sound of Freedom or something like that.
Yeah,
Pardon me
like
for
that,
not
sure.
being prepared with the title of the film, and I haven't seen it. But what I have noticed is the film has been really attacked severely. It's been called like a QAnon-associated film, and this fixation with child abuse and child trafficking. And that's confusing to me because I thought protecting children was like a major hallmark of the left.
Mm-hmm.
And now the left, and again, we get into complicated stuff when we say the left and the right because I just don't think it's that clear anymore.
Absolutely.
I think there's the left and then there's the synthetic left,
Mm-hmm.
which people call the left.
Uh-huh.
But then likewise with the right, you have the mainstream sort of Republican right-wing Fox News, and then you also have the far right, meaning militia people who are like discussing and planning like,
Yeah.
government takeovers and
Yeah.
and they're afraid that black helicopters are going to show up in their various states and put them in concentration camps of some form or another. So we have the left, the synthetic left, I guess the commercial right, and the actual far right. But yeah, what are just off the top of your head? I know I'm kind of rambling here a little bit, just saying some various things, but what are some of the things that jump to mind when we talk about the political scene in 2023?
Well, I think you started. It is sort of that real just flip of left and right, and sort of coming of age in the 90s, let's say, in New York, and I was a bit of a let's say a Chomskyan leftist, and we were kind of out in the streets protesting Giuliani's New York at the time.
Yep, I remember that.
And we were pushing back from the left, and it was just such a solidified sort of political position that I didn't think I would ever see change in my lifetime. And cut to 2016, cut to 2020, where we see now this censorship is now coming at us from the left.
Right.
And I'm finding myself aligning with whether it's an anti-war position or all these just foundations of my morals and politics.
Right.
I'm finding myself all of a sudden be like, yo, do I got to...
Yeah, we got to get out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
This is not where we belong.
I find myself aligning myself with as far as politicians, none of which I've ever trusted or ever will.
Right.
But that system is the one that's in place that still we have to express our politics through, unfortunately. And I would say that it's more obvious than ever the need to change that very system from it just needs to be
right.
But yeah, man, it is just that sort of subversion and just the drastic change and to see it happen sort of right in front of our eyes,
Yeah.
and to see the left that we trusted and knew, to see it sort of fold along lines, whether it was COVID, but even the Trump stuff, and whether it's Russiagate, whatever, all of these sort of the propaganda that did come in from the left and really corrupt it was just like, yo, how did this happen so fast?
Yeah, it's so
quick?
strange. And one thing that I'm really troubled with. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, we could make a nice hefty list of how the left has changed recently. And it's noticeable things that we could describe. And one thing that I'd like to describe is this weird cutting off of the discussion, this weird I don't want to talk about it effect. We can't do that. We have to talk, guys. We have to talk things through. We have to understand where we stand. And even if we disagree, we should understand why and how we disagree so we could be clear about ourselves and our interactions. And not talking about it is not acceptable, because then it's going to be a thing of I'm ultimately just going to try to impose my view on you, or you're going to try to impose yourself on me, and we didn't reach a fair understanding between us,
That's right?
And, for example, I don't want to talk about COVID is what I hear all the time. And it's like, well, it's not a matter of COVID now. Now we're talking about the consequences of COVID policy, and we can't afford not to discuss that. So you're like, oh, I'm tired of COVID. I don't want to talk about it. Well, sorry, but we need to talk about the health of our society. We need to talk about the laws of our society, right? Like now there are lawsuits of people who maybe lost their job because they didn't comply with mandates. Well, these lawsuits are ongoing. You don't want to know about it? I mean, that's ignorance. That's practicing ignorance. You're ignoring relevant things. And that's what I've been saying recently is, if you're not up to discussing what's going on in society, then just stand clear. I say just like literally, I'm recommending to people, don't watch the news anymore. Don't vote. Disengage from politics. Breathe fresh air. Listen to relaxing music. Practice yoga. Go to the beach, spend time with your loved ones, and never discuss politics or news and say, I don't want to be stressed by that. I don't want to waste my energy with that. Either do that or address what's really going on. Right. But don't pick this little weird in-between position where you're just absorbing commercial news, which is specifically not presenting you with relevant information you need to know, and fancying yourself as some sort of informed citizen who enjoys watching the news. It's like, that's not news, guys. That's the anti-news that's preventing you from discussing the things that we need to discuss. For example, the topic of my next Substack, which is excess mortality. But yeah, as far as the current administration, the Biden administration, I hate to say his name as well, just gives me the creeps, actually. I find this interesting. Tell me if this rings a bell with you, Ryan. I've been finding that Biden is sort of being upheld as the first president we are not supposed to critique in any manner. Yeah. That as soon as you mention Biden, well, Trump. Yeah, but Trump's not the president anymore. Yeah. Well, what about Joe Biden's policies? And they he's an old man and he's doing his best. Well, he's also the president and his policies are affecting people's lives. Yeah. So if he's not up to being the president, I don't want to hear this, well, he's an old man excuse. Why was he upheld as the nominee for the Democratic Party in the first place, which is, isn't that strange that Joe Biden, is a career politician. Donald Trump was the oldest president, actually, to take the oath of office until Joe Biden.
Yeah.
So we didn't have an old enough president. We need an older president who's also linked with racist policies and basically a right-wing Democrat who's never seen a war he didn't like. People don't realize.
Linked is putting it very kindly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's a war criminal. I mean, that's something that drives me crazy about all this Donald Trump stuff is, I don't want to even sound like I'm defending him at any point because I have no affection for him at all. But to describe him as this atrocious thing and to pretend that the other living presidents are not atrocious is a joke. I mean, it's absurd. They are all mass murderers, actually. Sure. And not in an abstract way.
Not at all. And I think that goes right back to that thing that we were talking about and sort of how you were dividing the left. And, I think you could describe that part of the left as maybe the MSNBC left. Yeah. And those are the very folks that cannot, will not, refuse to criticize. And it's, it's politically, it's to their detriment, And, you and I remember very well when the Democrats sort of circled around Biden and Bernie looked like he was going to be the guy there for a minute.
Yep, people forget about that one.
Yeah, they circled the right wagons real quick. So, it's not so difficult to see what's going on and to connect the dots, but everybody in their little echo chambers and their sort of social media silos are not opening themselves up to other perspectives,
No. And also, do you recall, because I know you've watched the documentary, we've watched it together, actually. That's how Ryan and I go back. just for historical record, we've watched the 2-part documentary Manufacturing Consent about the life and ideas of Noam Chomsky together.
Yeah, I think we had people over.
Yeah.
We put the VHS tape in.
Yeah, exactly. We watched two VHS tapes. It's a 2-part video of Noam Chomsky, Manufacturing Consent. And I want to review, in this atmosphere of censorship, and a lot of people I don't think understand actually what the censorship issue is. They really don't.
Yeah,
just to clarify a little bit, let's discuss it. So I think there's an impression that agencies, I should say, media agencies, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, are censoring dangerous people, that they're, really like terrorists and people saying stuff, and they're saying, oh, well, we can't allow that to be promoted on our platform. But that's not what we mean by censorship. We mean that doctors, credentialed doctors, for example, are just being silenced, that they have legitimate credentials and legitimate perspectives that should really be taken into consideration, and they're being silenced like terrorists. That's a dangerous situation. And I brought up Manufacturing Consent because I'd like to do a quick review of the case of Noam Chomsky defending Robert Faurisson. You remember this? Do you remember that?
Of course.
Right. Okay, good. So, Robert Faurisson, for those of you who don't know the story or might not remember, Robert Faurisson was a Holocaust revisionist who said there was no extermination campaign by the Nazis against the Jews. And Noam Chomsky signed a petition to defend his right of free speech, basically. And people, were they were outraged. They were disappointed in Chomsky. They called him a self-hating Jew and every other thing. And he actually had a town hall meeting to clarify the matter, where they said, "Are you saying that the extermination program never occurred? How could you say that?" He said, "I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is an elementary principle, which is that to defend someone's thesis and their right to state their thesis is a different matter altogether. People should have free speech, period, point blank." And he said the best response to Robert Faurisson, in his opinion, was to completely ignore him because he didn't consider his scholarship legitimate. Or you can refute him academically, but don't deny him free speech, and certainly don't go down the slippery slope of granting the state the right to determine historical truths as a matter of law, saying, well, no, this is a violation of what we have encoded as legal history. You have stated something against that. Now you can be incarcerated. Now you can have your rights violated. So, as he stated, every mass murderer, every dictator in history was in favor of freedom of speech for views that they support. The test of free speech is if you're in favor of it for views that you do not agree with.
Absolutely.
So it's like, let's not play this game, guys. We have to be adamant about free speech. You actually also have the right to lie. If you lie, then we should identify what you said as a lie, not prevent you from being able to speak or legally punish you for lying. You have a right to lie. You also have a right to just simply make a mistake. Right? I think that's an interesting thing, too, is that we have these terms: misinformation, disinformation. Not sure what the distinction is there. And now we have malinformation. Have you heard of malinformation?
Absolutely. Of course I have.
Malinformation apparently is information that is not incorrect, but is subject to misinterpretation by the layperson. So we don't want, the people to have too many facts that they could get confused with. And that's sort of the atmosphere that we're in, right? There's been this weird thing around COVID where they were saying, don't do your own research. That's crazy. Did you see the meme, Ryan, where they show vaccination research, and they show someone with a lab coat on in a laboratory holding a beacon or something, and then they have anti-vax research, and it's a lady sitting on the toilet looking at her cell phone.
Yeah, sure. No, I get it.
Yeah, exactly. So I described it well enough. You could visualize it.
Sure.
But, I love the Igor Chudov Substack. If you're not subscribing to him, definitely check out Igor Chudov. He's been way ahead of the game. And, he revisited that meme, and he said, well, the woman on the toilet is wise. Yeah, open up your cell phone and look up information on your cell phone while you're sitting on the toilet. Great idea. And, I want to confront this idea actually of the expert, And I know, and Ryan is a great guest to discuss this with, because I'll tell you, knowing Ryan for many years, Ryan is just a real deal dude in the sense that, if he loves you and respects you, he shows it and you know it. And he's just not a guy he just doesn't sweat people. He doesn't really revere people. He's a bit of like an iconoclast, which I think is just a great, despite the enormous icons that he's played with, he's an iconoclast, He's just a real deal dude. He respects, the common man and woman, he's just a real dude like that. But there's this whole atmosphere of just kind of like disrespect the so-called common person, like you're not smart enough to make decisions for yourself. And I just think it's such an obnoxious worldview and an incorrect worldview. It's not practical for people, right?
Absolutely.
Like, for example, my question is, well, where were all these various experts to help guide me in my life up until this point? Mm-hmm. You can't pop up in my life and say, you're an expert and now you're guiding me. Mm-hmm. Well, no, my life was already in progress, and then there's any number of variables and factors in my life you might not be aware of. So regardless of your incredible credentials and pedigree, it might not be suitable for me, right? I would love an economics expert to guide me in economics, and I would love a health expert to maybe a health expert who's also a cook, to cook my family meals every day that are of all the right nutritional content. And I would love experts of all kinds to just guide me in finance and wellness and home economics. But if you weren't there from the beginning, don't pop up and try to guide me. And likewise, as far as communities go, ask the community what they need. Right. Don't tell the community. That's not how it works. Yeah. And that's a big problem with the mandates and the imposing of COVID mandates on the people. As I said, well, you know what? I know this is wrong, not based on my expertise, based on, guess what? My gut.
Yeah.
I know this is wrong because if you cared about the people, you ask the people what they need. Oh, so I've been notified that we have some callers on the line, and this is a call-in show, right along the lines of what I was talking about. I want to hear from you, the listening audience. I'm very interested in everyone's opinion, whether you claim to be an expert or not. I'm interested in your opinion as a human being. And that's another thing, I love factual information, and I'm an information junkie in my own right, but I also love opinions, They say opinions are like you know what's, and everyone has one. But I still want to hear your opinion. Your opinion might not be the last opinion I ever hear. It might not be the final say of the matter. But human opinions are just a fascinating thing. So who do we have on the line to join us?
All right. First up is Craig from New York.
Brother Blue, are you on the air? I can't hear you, Brother Blue.
1, 2, this is Craig Blue.
Oh,
Jeremiah?
Microphone check, 1, 2, 1, 2. This is my brother, and his name is Craig Blue. Now, check it out. Now, Ryan and Blue and I, we were all original members of Earthdriver. Yeah, can you hear me, Blue?
Oh, no.
I don't know. Can Blue hear me? Testing 1, 2.
I can hear him.
I can hear you, Blue. I don't know why you can't hear me.
Oh.
Okay, can you hear me, Blue? Testing 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Hello?
Yo, Blue, can you hear me? Testing 1, 2. Microphone check. Blue? Oh,
Hello?
yeah, Brother Blue, can you call back?
Hello?
I can hear you, Blue. You can't hear me for some reason. Okay, Blue's gonna have to call back. We'll figure it out. I hope to get him on the air in just a moment. But Brother Blue was the original artist of Earthdriver. Earthdriver had a live painter painting while we were rocking out and funking out. Blue would have a canvas on stage, and he produced a whole Earthdriver series. So me, Blue, and Ryan, we all go way back. And Blue is someone who I talk to just about every day. So I hope we can get him back on the line in a second because, he enriches my everyday life through his incredible insights. Can you hear me, Blue? Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Blue, is your phone working, dude? I know you're having some weird headphone issues when I spoke to you recently. I hope it's not your headphones, because we're over here racking our brains trying to figure out technically what's going on our side, and it could just be some busted headphones that you're wearing. Blue, can you hear me? Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Okay, so we're going to keep going. We have another call? Yeah, sorry, Blue, call us back, brother. We hope to get you in the mix here, but we're going to get... That's live radio, as you guys know. This is an unedited program. This isn't, what do they call it now? Legacy media,
right? Yeah.
Where everything's prepackaged.
The next one is Noel from BK.
Okay, we have Noel from Brooklyn. Noel, can you hear me?
How you doing, Jeremiah?
Oh, pleasure.
Noel calling from Brooklyn.
Nice to hear you today.
I'd like to welcome you aboard on PRN.
Thank you so much.
I used to hear you call on Utrice, which you're actually taking her old time slot, so you know you're in royalty, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. You just and I'm so glad you said that, because Utrice.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you can't hear me. So what's going on over there? Oh, no.
Hello, I'm still here.
I can hear you, brother. I can hear you, but you can't hear me. This is unbelievable, right? This is like we're being...
Hello?
Torturous.
We're being divided by like a time warp. We're like on opposite sides of a black hole. We're both there.
Yeah, man.
What's going on over there, guys? Is there... I don't know. We'll figure it out. We're just cruising along, live radio, everybody. So you hear how it goes. Of course, we're going to have our bumps in the road, or bumps on the road as we get to our destination. But we got a couple great guys over here. Kyle and Dylan are sorting it out. But yeah, so just to say, while we're waiting for callers to join us, that is a big portion of what this show is about. I want you to call in and just say what's on your mind. You know, I'm not going to say it's not Free Your Mind Friday. I'm not going to steal Utrice Leeds, special Friday event. That's Utrice's thing, but it's in the same spirit, which is I want to hear from you. We're all a PRN family. We have to support each other. I really appreciate your support of this show. Let people know about it. Let people know there's a new voice on radio. This is literally a dream come true for me. Catherine Davis is the one who made the connection, who got me on air, and I will always be indebted to her for that. She's also an old friend, someone who I cherish very much. And that's what this is about. This is about old friends, reconnecting. And, if we're still on the planet, our work isn't done. That's for everyone who's out there listening. We're still here. We're on the planet. Stay inspired. Let's keep doing this sacred work. If you weren't meant to be here, you wouldn't be here, but you are here. So, let's all work together. Let's support each other. That's one thing that just drives me crazy about this social media culture that we live in, is why don't we support each other? We could just, we've been given these platforms that, of course, they're manipulated platforms, they're controlled platforms. But why don't we just all just uplift each other one by one? I wonder about that. If someone comes out with a new book, they'll say, "Hey, everyone, I came out with a new book. Please, check it out. This is, my life's work."
Yeah.
And we'll get, 5 likes on Facebook or something. And then the same person says, "Did you see the new Star Wars movie?"
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "It was awesome."
Yeah.
300 likes. Like, stop supporting stuff that just doesn't need your support, guys. Those are commercial projects with massive money behind it. Your friends need your help. The people in the community need your help, who, they're doing good things and they're not doing it for attention. They're just doing the right thing for the community. So let's support those people. We shouldn't be ego-driven people. And I think we're ready for a call. We're
Try Blue again.
Yeah, we're going to give it a try. I think we got Craig Blue on the line. Are you there, Brother Blue? Testing 1 2. Are you there, Brother Blue? My fingers are crossed. Can we talk to you?
You got Bars over here.
In the Matrix.
Oh, okay. I hear your voice, Blue. Do you hear mine? Do you hear mine? No, we're not fine. I'm running out of rhymes. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. We're having a little bit of maybe it's the CIA or something.
Yeah.
I'm a little paranoid about that because we saw from Edward Snowden that we were all under surveillance. I think people miss that about the Edward Snowden thing.
Yeah,
the thing about like your phone being tapped. Well, yeah, that's ubiquitous. All of our phones are tapped all of the time.
And we all know it now.
Yeah, and we don't care enough.
We don't care.
Yeah, that's something that's so weird is we're so inundated that we just don't care about monumental things anymore. I mean, just things that are just unbelievable things in our world, they just go unaddressed. I mean, we just act like, oh well.
Yeah.
And
we're approaching an election cycle where two of the main topics might be nuclear war and aliens.
Right.
And we're not talking about either one.
Right. Yeah, it's so weird. It's just
zoom back 20 years. Come on.
Yeah, it seems like
we got stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Let's get at it.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, that's a funny thing. There's always the sort of the inverted logic, right? There's one point of view, but then there's the other point of view. And that's something that frustrates me is when someone states their point of view and then they seem unable to acknowledge even the obvious aspects of the other point of view.
Right.
And it's like, for example, people will say one of the sayings is, what's the saying? They say, don't talk about it, be about it. Well, if we didn't talk about what we're being about, then what are you being about, right? We have to have clarity. Like we could say, oh, we're starting a band. Let's start a new rock band. And I'm thinking, some glam rock band, and you're thinking funk rock.
Right.
And we have two different images in our mind, even though we're carrying on like we're on the same page.
Yeah,
so
that's a good analogy.
That's why, thank you. And that's why, clarification of where we stand is so important. Even, for example, I find this funny, and I'm going to write a Substack about this. By the way, guys, if you haven't checked me out on Substack, please look up Jeremiah, Jeremiah, Hosea, Hosea, at Substack. That is, the platform where I'm expressing my views now, and I follow many Substacks. I think it's a really exciting time in information. Yeah, sorry, everyone. We're going to take calls next week. I'm really sorry about that. I was so excited to hear from you, and I'm so excited to talk with Blue. But, we're just having some technical problems over here. That's the way it rolls. It's like, change on the set list.
Yeah, man.
No problem. We'll have a lot of fun with that next time. But in the meantime, on this subject of, don't talk about it, be about it. It's like, well, I understand that. We can't just sit here talking and talking. Let's be men of action, right? Let's step up and do what we have to do. Let's not be big talkers who don't do. We have to do. But if we don't talk about what we're doing, then what are we doing? We're just acting just out of bravado or something.
Right.
So, I just think it's really important that we talk, that we're not impatient with each other. That's something, maybe you've noticed this too, Ryan. People are more emotional about their opinions than ever before. Have you felt that?
It seems to be primarily informed by emotion. And if you ask for substance and if you ask for clarification on just about anything, you can feel most people you ask, and just give me your opinion, you know what I mean? Just not something that you read and it's the only thing that they really oftentimes have is the emotion, and the information and the facts just aren't there. There's nothing to sort of base up to really hold up the opinions that are informing most people's lives, I'm finding, and well-intentioned people, intelligent people, and it's a trip.
Yeah, it's really strange.
Times.
People are unable to comport themselves.
Yeah.
That people are sort of launching into, what I'm finding is people are launching into emotional states of mind at the beginning of the conversation.
Right.
That's what's happening. I'm
Right.
finding in a lot of cases. Like, whoa, hold on. Can we build up to that?
Right. You're met with the emotion, then you have to. Right. Exactly.
Let's go over things, and then we kind of the argument reaches a level of emotion, but you're just inflamed in emotion from the beginning of the conversation.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
Man, yeah. And there is so much to talk about, and we know we have verifiable truth now that or verifiable facts now that we've been lied to. Take COVID, and I think our lack of our unwillingness to discuss and just these kid gloves that we have to sort of handle these subjects with each other is it's to our detriment, and now more than ever. And information, we are approaching a time where what's real and what's not are going to be, they're becoming.
You just touched it. So yeah, guys, just to hip everybody to, if you don't see what's sort of unfolding here, is we all have to brace ourselves here, because with AI and the incredible ability to edit and manipulate video and audio, we are entering the era, the age of the deep fake. There's going to be people accused in court on video of heinous actions, and their argument is going to be, that's not me.
Yeah.
That's an image of me. So we're getting into some unbelievable territory, guys. It used to be what, I always used to say when we'd see these atrocious events of unarmed people being killed by the police and or beaten up or killed by the police, and it's on video, and then we're debating whether or not it happened. And my argument was always, if we have video evidence of someone committing a harmful act, we shouldn't be debating whether or not they did what we saw. We should just be discussing, how do we punish the person who did what we saw? Yeah. And they would engage in this sort of argument of, don't trust your lying eyes. But now that's taking on a new dimension. Absolutely. In the era of the deep fake, that you can literally have people appearing to say things that they absolutely didn't say. I mean, these scary images of long compiled, statements made by people, and it sounds like the voice of the person, and it's not the person. It's AI taking a snippet of someone's voice somehow, and that's enough to generate that person making extensive statements. Yeah. Did you see this crazy thing about the book that was released about the Maui fires? Have you seen this?
No.
This is some crazy stuff, man. And for anybody out there who's been following Maui and some of the strange things observed over there, someone came out with a book about the Maui fires 2 days after the fire on Amazon, like an extensive text. How did you do that? And now it's been removed already. It was available for sale 2 days after these fires had just occurred, and now it's gone. And people are saying it was an AI book. Someone quickly thought it would be clever to make an AI book and publish it right after the fire, and mysteriously this book is gone. So again, I need to read up on some of the details of, wow, this is weird, but it's just an odd item of an extensive book written about an event that happened yesterday, basically.
Yeah,
available for sale on Amazon.
Tip of the iceberg.
So we have 3 minutes. We're getting to the end of our program, everyone, and I just want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's such an honor to be here, and I promise to do my very best to bring you interesting guests and interesting topics, and I'm going to be looking forward to your opinions and your points of view as you call in and share what's important to you. You can all reach me at jeremiahhosea@gmail.com, jeremiahhosea@gmail.com. You can check out my website, which is really dedicated to my music, jeremiahhosea.com. If you buy one of my songs, I will be very honored. And I do have 2 beautiful young children to feed. I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. So if you support me, you are supporting them. If you think I'm a total crackpot, say, well, okay, well, he has kids to feed, so at least don't punish him, or don't punish his kids for his insanity. I have 2 children who, are going to inherit this world along with all the other children. And that's why I'm fighting, actually. That's why I believe we have to talk about this stuff. If it was just me, I would care a lot less. But I'm literally afraid for the world that my children are inheriting. And I know that sounds almost cliche, right? It's such a scary world to bring children into. But I'll tell you something, guys, and this is really from the heart. Before I became a father, I was not as scared of the world that my children were inheriting. I was like, okay, it's a scary world, but it's been done, generation after generation. and a new fear has set in terms of changes that have happened in my lifetime, in my children's short lifetimes. The world has changed in a way that makes me really concerned for them. So I'm going to stick up for myself in the first place, honestly. But when you bring my kids and the children of the world who are truly innocent into this, now we have a fight. Now you got problems. I'm not giving up for my kids or for anybody's kids, and we do have to stand up for the truth, because we might not be innocent, but the children are, and they deserve to, fulfill themselves and their potential as much as possible. So I'm getting the cue. We're running out of time here, but I thank you so much for tuning in. I want to thank my brother Ryan Waters, just a phenomenal guitar player, phenomenal artist, phenomenal man. He has a great band called Ill, available at earthdriver.org. We have our little community of music there. Please check out the Ill albums. They are ill in a good way. And thanks to the engineers here. Thanks to Kyle and Dylan. These guys are over here juggling a 3-ring circus back there, but they're making it happen. So thank you all. I'm going to be back next Friday, 1 p.m. Tune in. Tell everyone the Bassline with Jeremiah Hosea is here. And thank you all. Peace and love.